Hi, it's me again, Susi Yuliawati. Welcome to the 10th week of the classes of TPB Bahasa Inggris course. In this video, we will be talking about understanding vocabulary in context. Well, it is of course important to build vocabulary, whether academic vocabulary or specialized vocabulary or vocabulary that is connected to a special field, for example, science. Understanding vocabulary based on the context is important because this is also a type of questions in reading tests of TOEFL, where you have to identify a word or a phrase that is used in particular context in a reading passage. There are two types of understanding vocabulary in context questions. Well, there are two types of understanding vocabulary in context questions. The first is to determine the meaning of simple words, and the second one is to determine the meaning of difficult words. In this type of questions, you should not give the normal everyday meaning of a word. Instead, the task is aimed to find out to what extent that you have the ability to identify the meaning of a word based on a particular context in the passage. When it comes to understanding vocabulary in context, the first thing that needs to be identified is the questions. There will be some questions that ask you about the meaning of a word, such as what is the meaning, or which of the following is closest in meaning to. Even though the question is typically in the form of a simple word or a word that you see often in everyday English, it is stated earlier, this type of question doesn't ask you to answer with vocabulary by definition that we normally find in a dictionary, but it asks the meaning of the word that fits the context of the passage given. So if you find such questions, then where you can find the answer? The question usually tells you in which lines of the passage the word can be found. So therefore, you just need to focus on that line or some other lines before or after the lines to search for the answer. There are 4 steps to answer these questions. First, find the word in the passage. The passage usually tells you what context that the word is used, and you can predict the answer based on the situations in the passage. Second, read carefully the sentence that contain the word. And third, look for the context clue to help you understand the meaning. And the last, choose the answer that the context indicates. Okay, now let's take a look at the example. You may take a while to see the passage and pause the video. Let's take a look at question 1. The word rough in line 1 is closest in meaning to. The questions ask you the meaning of the word rough. In these questions, you are not expected to know the meaning of the word rough from everyday English. Instead, you should understand the meaning of the word from the context of the sentence. The piece of eight was the nickname of the Spanish peso, which was the rough equivalent of the American dollar in early America. So to answer these questions, we need to relate the word rough to a word in the same sentence that we know the meaning. For example, to the word like equivalent. Since we know, for example, that the meaning of the word equivalent is equal in amount or value, and in this context, to determine the meaning of rough, we also relate the Spanish peso and its equivalent to American dollar. So we can guess that the meaning of the word rough here is approximate, which is the most suitable word to modify the word equivalent compared to the other options in the questions from A to D. So we can guess that the correct answer for these questions is C, approximate. Alright, the next types of vocabulary questions is to find the meaning of difficult word. The question asks you to determine the meaning of difficult words. It is the word that you are not expected to know. In this case, the passage will give you a clear identifications of the word means. In other words, we can say that the vocabularies that are used in the passage are specialized vocabularies. The strategies that are used to answer this type of the questions is similar to the previous strategy I explained to you before. So the first thing is you need to find or to identify the questions, and then you have to focus on the line which contains the word that is being asked. Then you have to understand the context clue that will help you to understand the meaning. However, to understand more specialized vocabulary, it is very essential because the passage uses words that are specific to spatial fields. Okay, now let's take a look at the following examples. I'm going to give you an examples how to find the answers in question 1. In line 2, the word widow means. To answer these questions, we can connect the word to the context of the passage. First, the black widow refers to a species of a spider that lives in the United States. Second, you see the sentence in the passage, got the name because the female has been known to kill the male after mating. This sentence indicates that widow refers to the male spider that has been killed by female spider. So here we can eliminate the answers that are not connected to a species of a spider such as A, C, and D. Then the remaining answer is B. So we can guess that the answer is B, which is the dead male spider. That's all for now. To sum up, understanding vocabulary in context in working on reading tests in TOEFL, it is actually quite tricky. That's why building vocabulary and understanding a word in particular context, whether it is in academic or specialized vocabulary, is important. So once again, the strategies to find the meaning of a word from the context, the first thing you have to do is you need to read or to find the words in the passage and then read carefully the sentence that contains the word. And then you have to look for the context clue that can help you to get the meaning of the word and choose the answer to that context indicates. So by doing that kind of procedure, I believe that you will able to answer the questions correctly. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you do all the exercises, and if you have any questions, you can ask to the tutors in tutorial sessions. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.